Inferior is wearing a wry smile. Might it have something to do with your newfound fame? She likes us. Until not so very long ago, you were but one of many adventurers seeking to make their way in Eorzea. But for your character and courage, you were raised to the esteemed post of envoy. Thereafter, you travelled the realm, aiding those in need without the thought of reward, confirming to Thancred and the Scions would benefit from your aid. No sooner had you joined us than you personally bested the primal Ifrit. You've achieved a great deal in a short time and won fame in so doing. Alas, fame does not come without a price, as you will soon discover. We have guests, Panz. Or rather, you have guests. Beg pardons. Ah, Lady Minfilia, radiant as always. I am given to understand the Scions of Seventh Dawn have but recently welcomed a new hero into their midst. I am here on behalf of Maelstrom, Grand Company of Limsa Lomnimta, to offer said hero place and honor within our ranks. Well, he did us first. As you can see, Panz, your recent exploits have garnered you the attentions of the Grand Companies of Eorzea. Each organization would have a Freet's Bane for its own. To this end, all three have sent officers to court you. Oh, sorry, fellas. I'm not into dudes. Nothing against it. You know, not curious. I mean, admit, curious, yeah, definitely. But, you know, like the ladies. They would not ordinarily go to such lengths to enlist a new recruit. That they have is evidence of their high regard for you. I find myself wondering how a word of Pan's deed spread so quickly. That the immortal flame should know of his triumph is to be expected. What are the other grand companies? Eep. Tartaru, did you tell everyone? Your reputation precedes you, Panztastic. 'Tis no ordinary man who can face a primal and emerge the victor. The Order of the Twin Adder has need of valiant men such as you. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us ensure that peace ever reigns over the Twelveswood. What a pleasure it is to finally meet you, Panztastic. My comrades speak of you in the most glowing terms. Why, even before you aided us against the Almajar and their dread primal, yours was already a respected name in Uldar. Our people know you and love you well. Oh, he makes a good point. A man of your talent belongs with the immortal flames. Join your strength to ours, friend, and together let us secure our prosperous future for Uldar. The Admiral was not exaggerating when she said you have the look of a hero. Full often does she speak of you, friend. It is only natural that you should want for you, Maelstrom. Join your strength to ours, together, and let us see the grand vessel of Limsa Luminsa to the shores of glory. Oh, that's the Admiral with the name I can't pronounce. Yeah, I mean... Lady Minfilia. Very well. Though I'm quite sure you need no reminding, mayhap a brief summary of the situation would help you clarify your thoughts on this matter. As you know, the Grand Companies are all-encompassing organizations empowered to call upon the martial, economic and technological resources of their respective city-states in times of strife. There are presently 3 such organizations in Eorzea: the Maelstrom of Limsa Luminsa, Order of the Twin Adder of Gridania, and the Immortal Flames of Uldar. Serving a grand company means serving a nation to which it belongs. You'll be charged with its defense and tasked with advancing its cause. In return for your faithful service, you'll be furnished with various rewards, some of which may well prove useful to you in other endeavors. If you're agonizing over which of the grand companies best deserves your loyalty, be at ease. The commitment you make this day need not be permanent. Should you wish to shift your allegiance at a later date, you're entitled to do so, and yet I concede that is no small choice you face. A thought occurs to me. You will of course recall that the 3 city-states are planning to hold remembrance services. As well as part of the proceedings, I'm given to understand that the leader of each grand company will deliver an address. Hearing these stresses ought to help you make an informed decision. What say you, my dear officers? A fine suggestion. You are wise as you are beautiful, my lady. Very well, let Panz hear our leaders speak, then return here with his decision. We eagerly await your answer. I know full well that adventurers are, by their nature, a liberty-loving breed, and not best suited to the discipline of military service, but I strongly urge you to join a grand company nonetheless. While the promise of reward is enticing in itself, it is not the only benefit. You are possessed of great power, Panz, and with it you are capable of doing untold good. Yet know that great power is wont to attract attention, not all of it friendly. There will be those who wish you ill, and you must needs be on the lookout for them. Yet however vigilant you are but one man in the midst of a grand company. However, you will be one man amongst many, a friend among friends. Your achievements will be shared, and so will the danger. I can think of no better arrangement. Of course, joining one organization need not mean leaving another. I hope that we can continue to rely upon your aid. 12 know that we will have need of it in days ahead. The grand companies seek to protect their own nations. We Scions, on the other hand, seek to preserve the future of Eorzea as a whole. Similar, yet not quite the same. Now then, I expect that you will be afield more often in the future. As such, I have you carry this link pearl with you at all times. It will allow us to stay in touch regardless of location. Eorzea is changing, Panz, and you have the power to shape it anew. None can say what the morrow will bring, but so long as we believe in ourselves, there is naught we cannot achieve. Now it is time for you to made ready for your journey. Before you depart, be sure to speak to Tataru. She will apprise you as to where and when the remembrance services are due to take place. Okay. Could knock out that Hello Halatali first. I think we should. It's over at Eastern Thanalan. Do we have anything in this on Western? Lead Coblin in the Footfalls. I think they're up. Or north of here. We'll have a quick look. Gotta get the book done. Oh, there's... Okay, speak to Tataru. I mean, we're here. I am sorry about the attention you're getting, Panz. I might have sung your praises a little too loudly, and often, to a few too many people. Next time I'll sure to hold my tongue, literally if necessary. Anyway, I expect you to know where and when the remembrance services are taking place. All goes to plan. Gridania's Grand Company, the Order of the Twin Adder, will hold the first of the three services, and Elder Seed Seeker Khan Senna will deliver her address at Miketo's Amphitheatre. Should probably mention that at this point, due to the organizational challenges involved in assembling all of the involved parties, it is possible that the order of the services might change. Still, there's not much we can do about that, so make Gridania your first port of call. Next, you'll need to go to Uldar, where the Flame General Ruban Alden will be addressing the masses at the Royal Promenade. Oh, and it's rumored there'll be a special guest. How exciting. Last but not least, you must make your way to the stateroom in Limsa Lominsa, where Maelstrom Chief Admiral Morwerblithrin We'll be giving her address. The room is accessible via the Admiral's lift. Identify yourself to the sentry Xanthale and he will admit you. Got all that? Yes. Well, off you go then. Hope you find remembrance services suitably educational. I suggest visiting the city-states in my prescribed order though. With your record of impeccable timing and luck, the schedule may change in favor of your preferred travel plans. Farewell. That basically says, look, if you choose to go in a different order, we'll let you attend the thing out of time. Yeah, just to ease your travel requirements. So we're going to head up north and see if we can find what are they? Lead colbins. Don't need the bloated bogies. Here we go. Lead colblins right here. Barely hear my attacks at all. Good thing. Kind of okay with it. I needed 4. Alright, now they're in a different area. Also in a different area. They're in southern Thanlon and eastern Thanlon. And nothing else is here, right? Okay, we're heading over to eastern Thanlon anyway. Unless we're doing this quest. It's on holy ground. We're not doing that one. We're doing, we're gonna do a dungeon. Yeah, let's run the dungeon. The Hallo Halatali. And then we'll work on the hero on the making, which I think... Is that this one? That's the one we just picked up. Yep, okay. Let's travel out. That's from Eastern, so if we just go to Camp Drybone. Oh, I think the other ones that we want are over the hill, down in here. We might travel out there and... Thinking about it. Get out the way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're down there when we checked out their location. So it's tempting to just run across and get them. We might get a quest later. If not, we'll just make a trip out there later. It's not like we're close to finishing this chapter in the book. Speak with Fafa Joni. Man, I want to mount. I want to Fafa Joni. As the halls of Halatali you seek, you need seek no further. Permit me to tell you something of this place. Name comes from an ancient tongue, Halatali meaning the land of many shadows. It was here our distant ancestors first settled, and, bah, you have not all come this way for a lesson in history. Shh, listen, do you not hear the howls and growls? Do you not feel how they shake the very earth beneath you? Those sounds the work of no wind, my friend, nor that rumbling the doing of any shadows. Those are the calls of the Halatali. For now the beasts once kept in the Colosseum lurk here, and these are no gentle beasts broken by hand of man. No, there are those within that even might of the immortal flames cannot tame. From the look of you, you must be Panz. I received word from Nedrick that you might be along. By his recommendation I grant you leave to enter the freely. I only pray you are able to find your way out. Cool. Take some monies. Halatali now accessible. I believe his dungeon. Less than 5 minutes, apparently. Where else do we have to go for what we're doing? What else we're doing is here on the making. Actually, surprised you as to where the remembrance service is to be held. Visit Miketo's amphitheater in Gudanya, the Royal Promenade in Uldar, and finally the stateroom in Limbs Alonso and hear what Grand Company leaders have to say. And apparently we can do them in any order because we're just that lucky that they'll change when they are. Well, instead of doing that, this might be a good time just to, take that trip over to where we think the things we need for the book is, which I think they're there. We're looking for not the Sabotenders, the Quickquern Roadrunner. Oh. Cool. know where we're going, so... That door looks open, so it looks good, right? Whoa. Sad face. Thing on. Unless dying didn't turn it off. Or I turned it on and off. One of the two. Oh man. I think I left something behind. Tanking bad. Seeing all these little shots coming in from other spots, and I can't see any other enemies, so... Oh, here they go. Oh, guess not. I'm guessing whatever that was doesn't matter. Enter the ethereal flow. That sounds good. That's what that does. Don't pull on the chain witch. I mean, it's a good way, I guess, to do that bomb thing like that boss where it kills everything for you. But probably kills me for me. I don't need any help killing me. Oh, unless you have to pull them all. That could be a thing, maybe. Come on, fellas. Trying to get an eye down there to see if there's a thing we need to go do, but it looks like it's just loot. Alright, activate chain witches. Definitely have to do them. Oh, these guys know the way. No, they don't. I just followed them. Alright, let's go back. Probably both ways. That looks pretty boss. Hey Walter, how you doing, man? Probably not. I don't think I've played on stream. I only just started playing Final Fantasy the other day. I had years in WoW, but it was before I started streaming. I don't seem to be picking up these sprites very well. I played through this. Did you play in 1.0 at all? Where's the... Oh, there's a loot window. Yeah, the new one's 90 apparently. Yeah. It's fun. Like I've always liked the just the systems and the idea of, you know, the dungeon running for bosses that have you know, loot pools. And that way you can chase down your upgrades, and I don't know what I need to do next. I'm following this guy. Ah. Yeah, just the idea of dailies and, you know, factions and all the things that give you, you know, more and more stuff to do. Well, it's a trap. You like that you tackle the game whatever difficulty you feel like? Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of when I get through the story, because I love the story in games as well. And Final Fantasy's, you know, historically has good stories. Because I did a lot of raiding with friends and family and just people that I met through the game, and you know, regularly. Like we had our Wednesday and Thursday night raid team. That was a big part of it, why I kept playing. Just to show up every, you know, Wednesday and Thursday for raids, and then every other day was to do stuff with the team members to be ready for raids, whether it be doing heroic dungeons or, you know, helping people, you know, do dailies to get faction rep so you could get the reputation pieces. These things are turning into stuff, right? Nice, and we got an achievement. Yeah, I felt like that. I have seen a fair bit of stuff that I have no idea. How do I don't know how to do the accommodation things. Like I've watched a fair bit of the late level dungeons in the past, you know, just hanging out with other, you know, streamers and friends. Hey Valkyrie, how you doing? I always like the look of the dungeons. Yeah, nice. Sure. Yeah, the music is great. I wish there was a separate slider for the combat music because it comes through really loud. But other than that, yeah, everything's good. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed is that there's there hasn't been, and then whenever I've, like I said, watching someone else and going through their chat and you know, or seeing what's in on their chat window if they've got it open, and what friends have said, there's very few toxic players. Which, surprise, surprise, is because they take a very strong arm when it comes to punishing toxic players. Which, you know, it turns out, if you openly say, hey, look, we don't accept that sort of behavior and here's your punishment, and let everyone know what you're doing, people that could potentially be jerks tend to keep their mouths shut. Surprise, surprise. I like that as well. Like, you know, there's no reason to abuse someone for being a bad player. You can give them some advice, be nice about it, and you don't even have to point out they're bad. You just need to point out, you know, maybe if they're doing something wrong, like if they're standing in the fire, you just say, hey, standing in that fire is really bad. You want to step out of that in future if possible. And that's just it, right? Alright. I need a quick rune. Here's the quick rune row runners. Yeah, I never understood the need to... I think especially, like... I noticed it pretty much yesterday was when I first really noticed it, because it was when I unlocked dungeons. And I ran a few dungeons. I'm not playing as tank. I've played as a tank in multiple MMOs for a long time. I like taking the melee tanky option in RPGs where... Oh, Greedfall, probably the best example, where... I was able to... Well, I played a bit as a tank in that one, but I took a healing one. But that's a good option to... I think so. Just played like 3 tanks in a row. You know, when you kind of control other, like the NPCs, being a tank means, you know, you can make sure they don't die, right? What didn't I understand? I think all the looks and feel of it's really good. Hang on. You went into a dungeon the first time, was leveling a healer. One guy mentioned you should use spell X and not Y, and then felt very offended by you not doing it. He then asked me why do I even play this game. He said you like looking at the scenery and love the design. He did not understand. Yeah, some people don't get that. Although in saying that, if you do love the scenery and love the design and someone makes a suggestion, if it is accurate, you probably should do that. Because it'll help you love the scenery and the design a bit more. Yeah, and you did take some of the suggestions, that's good. I think that's the best way to put it around. It's like, you know, to get things to... We need 3 or 4 of those. I think I needed 4. We need 4 of them? We need 4. But some people are really jerks about it in the first dungeon. And you usually see it when you're just trying to do the dungeon and they don't want to be patient. And I get it, you know, you want to, if you're leveling an ult, now this game doesn't have ults, so it's a little different, right? I mean, you could have an ult, but kind of strange. But just because someone else doesn't want to go through at breakneck pace or doesn't know that that's a thing, like telling someone they're like, and you see it, you used to see it all the time in WoW, I hated it. Where someone would abuse someone else because they were going too slow. Because they might not realize that, yeah, in dungeons you've got a group, so the tank will run off and grab everything, and the healer's there to, you know, keep them alive, and there's damage. You just got to keep up and do a little bit of damage, and then when they stop, that's when you really go for it, right? Yeah, wording's hard too. I think it's probably the toughest thing too is when you're receiving advice. I think you need to give the person a little slack in the way they say things and the way, because they're writing in text. So it can be hard, and as polite as you want to be to someone, you've got to find that line of, you want to be polite and offer them good advice, but you also want to be sort of a bit to the point. And that's something that I think so many people miss on both sides. Definitely on both sides. People giving advice need to understand that if you want to give someone advice, you've got to put it in a way that they'll be open to receive it. But definitely in a MMO sort of setting, especially if you're in a dungeon and you're running through and you just want to quickly give someone some advice, you got to. It's going to come off a little abrupt anyway. Hopefully not too much. Alright, so we can just go do these quests now. But yeah, like I was saying, so many times running through the first or second dungeon in an MMO, and someone who's clearly new, and not necessarily struggling, just they're probably used to the pace at which you pull things out in the zone. You don't pull like 10 things and try to kill them, you'll die. You didn't report him or anything, you just applied some advice. Yeah, I think that's the best way to approach it. You know? I think most of the times, I think if someone's trying to tell you things with spells or rotations, they're generally trying to be nice about it. They might not be doing a good job at being nice about it, but most of the time people that just want to be jerks will just tell you you're trash, and that's about it. So it's not easy. It depends on the game, right? And I got to the stage in WoW where I didn't want to give advice in dungeons because people are so used to being yelled at in chat. The mentality is if someone's telling me something, they're being mean or they're being a jerk. And so it was just too hard to try to be nice to a random low-level person to give them advice. Unless they joined your guild or you'd found them just randomly playing and were doing quests with them. Here on the making. Oh, we've got to attend all these remembrances. Alright, we'll go to the one in Gridania. We'll go to them in order. We'll go to Gridania first. But I think it's easier in a game like this where, you know, people have been friendly enough. Or friendly enough for me is they haven't been abusive from the word go. So they passed didn't get abusive from the start check. You, Gridania. I think also the game's not really set up. It's slightly different. You know, I guess with no factions, that changes a little bit of the hostilities in the mentality of play as well. Maybe that's getting too meta. I don't know. When you have very little PvP in a game, it feels like most people are playing it to enjoy the game. WoW is way worse. People track damage dealt and compare all the time to the point they kick you if you underperform. Yes. And a lot of the reasoning in that is the dungeons are at the early level compared to the characters are more difficult. Right? So it's sort of, when I'd finished up, it had sort of rounded off to the stage where they were still difficult, but they weren't too bad. But you could go through a dungeon with people, and if they were, and some people not underperforming for lack of trying. I think in those dungeons you wouldn't get kicked. If you were clearly trying and going through it, everything would be fine. But it's people that they'll just follow another character, because there's a follow command, like /follow, and it's for if you usually do it with friends, if you're going to go AFK and your friend's going to run into town and your character will follow them. People will do that in a dungeon and not do anything, which then leads to the party wiping and not killing the boss. So that leads to people checking other numbers. Taiwanese would grant you passage through the White Wolf Gate, broadening horizon. Well, it can be bad, and that's one of the things when group finders came in, it sort of did that. It made it weird because you didn't have to be, like when it was just server-based stuff and the servers were fairly small, you didn't want to be a jerk because word could get around that you were a jerk. You know, and it would make it look on your guild, look bad on a guild you're in, and so guild members didn't like other guild members being jerks out in the, I guess, public, because they want their guilds to look good in case they ever need to ask another guild for help or something. The amphitheater. Alright, let's go up to the amphitheater. And also a lot of the late game content back then didn't have so many difficulty tiers. There wasn't very many options in the terms of, you know, how did you do the easy content for just to see the story, or did you push the hard content because you wanted to do something challenging? It was just one sort of level of things. Right? And of course people wanted to do it, but a lot of people didn't want to take the time to, like, and it was tough. So it was designed around knowing your role and doing a good job and being organized. And people kind of did that. You either knew you wanted to do that or you didn't. But you needed to check meters and stuff, because if you needed to have, like, some of the bosses had timers on them before it was called an enrage. the boss would enrage at a certain time and just basically wipe everyone. Well, that's it, yeah. And then so, and back then there was no sort of real hardcore or casual guilds for raiding. It was either raid or not raid. And you needed to have minimum damage to do it. So you needed to make sure people were doing their roles. So it's kind of like, and that's where people started equating it to jobs, because it kind of like became, you can't go to work and not do your job unless you work somewhere where you can get away with not doing your job. Because the team required everyone to do their work. And yeah, it sort of, that then flowed into when they had different levels, people's attitude was, well, just because it's an easy one doesn't mean people can slack off. It's like, well, kind of does. In the easier tiers, everyone doesn't need to be as performant because it's easier. The thresholds are lower. And a lot of people sort of took the attitude, no, you should do your best and be the best no matter what tier you are, because then if everyone did it, it'd be easier on everyone, which is okay of an attitude to set on yourself. But, I don't know, you can't be, I personally think you can't be angry at someone who's doing acceptably well at a lower level difficulty just because you want to get through faster. That's kind of being a jerk. But if you're advertising for a group and you're saying, expecting this sort of level of performance, you can't, as someone who doesn't achieve that level of performance, also can't complain that they're asking too much, because they're asking it from the start. Just don't join that group. But people get too sort of set in their ways and, will try to fight the internet fight no matter what. It's like, well, you guys go have heart attacks fighting each other for on your own morals and your own time. I'm going to go do my thing. How you doing, Drywall?
I lost my son to the Calamity.
The 3 Seed Seers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body. Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seed Seer.
I don't know what I think of this hat.
The entwined serpents
The
represent the
goggles were growing on
unity
me.
between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol. Do you not agree?
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness. And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. "5 years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day, for soon came the Calamity."
The Calamity.
The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed, each waking hour a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
I do like that they sort of made the end of 1.0 because it was so
and
bad.
How do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember?
A catastrophic
pray tell?
story event that they recall in the new game. And
the destruction
Hey, Scalzi, how
wrought
you
by
doing?
the Calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity. We must think of the children.
Woods will be done.
It's up to us to protect the
Everybody
forest.
thinks
The
of the children.
elementals!
If you'll permit me, Alfie, no.
I'm Panz.
And my sister, Alize, at your service. I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler. You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with 2 beast tribes. The Ixal are unquestionably more troublesome, being of naturally warlike disposition and won't summon their bloodthirsty primal Garuda. The Sylphs, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians until recently at last. Alas, they have grown aloof, a change observed at roughly the time they summoned the primal Ramu. Anyway, the Gridanians have no love for war. They consider open conflict a last resort. Though they clash with the Ixal ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sliffs, they are as yet bound by peace, greedy. Though one wonders how long it'll be before it is broken. The Twelveswood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. People are hopeful that restoring the wood, and thereby the power of the elements, will put an end to their woes. Yet how long will that take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the Ixal will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to all-out war. And when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? Bye. Alright, one down. So you want to be a conjurer, so you want to be a leather worker, so you want to be a botanist, so you want to be a lancer. I don't want to be any of those things right now. Although flower picking does sound pretty fun. We're going to the promenade in Uldar. Any money I get lost trying to walk that close. Gonna do it. I think we found the right place. Yeah.
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanamo herself!
And Roban as well.
The Sultana.
Ooh.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah! Rauban! Where since antiquity Under the sage and judicious rule of the Ul dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold. Where by the grace and glory of Naldal have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
There, at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard.
Hey, what are these two guys doing? They're spying on me.
Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the Seventh Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not.
They are not.
And now, but 5 years into this Seventh Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden, and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death.
He's not happy.
Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth.
Dirty Garleans.
We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act.
Aw, big words making baby princess sad, dude.
Whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist, all must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people.
Ja, for Ul'dah!
Together we are one.
Your grace.
Rauban? People of Ul'dah, I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measured that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Uldar, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are, by fire, reborn! Forsooth!
The time is now! I
Fancy meeting you again.
Yes, fancy. The Uldans have a long history of conflict with the Amalja, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Well, worshipped. Primal Ifrit is no more. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you've encountered them. The Uldans do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precarious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So they have dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they've been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Uldar has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will ever be finite. Which brings me back to the subject of Ifrit. It has been observed that the Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldan send their forces to smite the primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition which they cannot well sustain. They can keep summoning it. Small wonders, then, the immortal flames are eager to recruit more members. At such a desperate hour, an adventure of your experience would be a most welcomed addition to their ranks. For their sake, I hope that the Flame General's words struck a chord with you. Alright, well I guess I'll see you at the next place, since you're creepily following after me. Could at least share an Uber. A bit of luck, this should be just through here. Zenthale. What's the green leafy icon beside your name? That's to indicate that I am a sprout, or a new player. So be nice to me, or the game will smite you. Here to attend the remembrance service. Be quick, the Admiral is due to give her address at any moment. Yeah, there's no option to remove it.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride.
I'd also let you choose to be a sprout if you've been away for a while.
700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say.
Hey, Bonfire.
The crimson field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the black longship represents a pirate vessel.
When the Garlean Empire marched upon Eorzea, we assembled beneath the Maelstrom Standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners, and together we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage, yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
Oh, that's pretty hot, dude.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. Small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
Rude.
It has been 5 long years since the Calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the Calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again?
Maybe.
Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin have risen?
While the mines of Ogomero spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now the curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us.
Kill them all.
One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the Calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves till sea swallows all.
Long live the Admiral!
Admiral Melvin!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the 7 hells, Admiral!
Oh, a little torn here. Kinda want to be a pirate.
Fancy meeting you again.
No, you're definitely following me. As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limsa Lominsa is plagued by 2 beast tribes. First, a fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan. The second are the kobolds who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Lominsans' backyard. And that is to say, naught of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions, and while they fight amongst themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Lominsans are to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside, and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. Panz, this has been Philia. You are well, I hope? Would I be correct in thinking that the final remembrance service has now concluded? A moment ago, you say. What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies. Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, it would not do them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. Report to Minfilia, eh? And do we have any... I should have checked if we could have done some of these somewhere. I mean, while we're here. Might not need to just hurry back. We could go out here to Middle Lanoxia. Do we have anything in Middle? North Shroud, that's somewhere else. South Shroud, I think that's over in Gridania, isn't it? Eastern, Outer. Well, this is Eastern-ish. Middle, where are we? So Eastern is more up there. That heads to Lower. Upper. Upper, Eastern, and Outer. Not Lower. Eastern leads to Upper. Where's Outer though? Western doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's Wolves, Lanosia. Western, Wolves. Mist. Alright, so we'll head up. Eastern. I wonder if I could have taken a chicken. Mossless Gubu. If I should have waited for a mount. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Now, we'll get these ones. Maybe we'll do the ones in Gridania with them out. Yeah, we'll have a quick look around Eastern. What are you guys? Whoa. Full damage. Spawning Megalo Crab. You are 6 or more levels above the recommended level for the fate. Yeah, that's alright. I'm not going to take part. If your panties in or not. I guess I haven't entered the zone yet, so I don't get a map of it. It kind of makes sense. I'm in the zone now though, right? Nope. Ah, the dots, of course. Adjoining area. That's upper. Okay, so where am I? So Limsa Lominsa is there. But we came out of Middle Anosha, or whatever it is. And we came out of Limsa Lominsa here. And we've headed that way. Or we could go back into Limsa Lominsa there. You could do a lap. It makes it feel like it's a really small globe. Like you can do this endless easterly loop. Yeah, look, Eastern. Keep going east. Then go east through the city. And then I guess this tiny little bit west. But that feels like those doors don't join up on each side, right? Where are these enemies? What are we looking for? Level 36. Oh, that's the good guys. We're in Eastern. Grass raptors. Where is that going to? That's going to upper. Oh, I got some things in upper. Stone shells. Water sprite. Oh, that's what I am in League of Legends, apparently. For team fight tactics. I don't want to fight you. You're not on my list, dude. I'm looking for things on my list. They're the ones I want to punch in the face. What are you? You're not a thing on my list. And that gets you back to the ferry. It's a camp. There's a dungeon there. Okay. So I think the important thing be I at least get one of the things off from my list and have it removed from my list. So either stone shell or Kuelu pup. And not the salamander. Go away. Oh. Oh man, they're going to attack as well. Panz, don't go walking around in places you're going to get attacked. I'm getting attacked.